Hey everyone, and welcome to our weekly Unreal Engine Twitch live stream. Today we've got technical writers Lauren Ridge and Wes Bunn hanging out to talk about a lot of the new learning resources that are now available and coming very, very soon.
Yes.
Imminently.
Yeah, any minute now. Awesome. So thanks for hanging out with us. We're going to dive into some news and then we'll get to the good stuff. So Shelly, if you don't mind hopping over to the monitor. All right, weekly marketplace content update. We've got some stuff that's been hanging around for a bit that highly anticipated. We'll get down to that in a second. But first, sale items. We've got prototype characters from Yingpei and prototype weapons from 80 Entertainment. Weapons and props, we've got the modular wooden prop pack from Ginkgo Story. Materials and effects, a post-process shader pack from Tom Shannon. This is actually really cool. This is the one that's got like actually looks like a blueprint, or they've done like some that looks like sketching on paper.
Oh, that's cool.
Sick.
And then, ledge climbing system from
really cool.
Alex Mesquita. It's really, really awesome. I've been watching this one since probably, May?
Yeah, same here.
It's really, really neat. Mobile touch navigation by Hedgidev. And some civilian footsteps for all your civilian footstep needs by Lexan Nadashvili. So, hard for me to read there. Cool.
Very cool.
And let's see. Next week, we are going to be at MIGS in Montreal. That's on the 10th and the 11th. Zach Parrish, everyone's favorite pink-haired tech artist, is doing a talk, let's see, on... I can't remember what his session's on. I think it's just on the editor,
Yeah,
just
the
in general.
introduction to the editor.
Intro to editor, yeah. And Celia's going to be there doing some a UX talk as well. Celia Hodent is our UX master here in our building. So, following that, we've been talking about the East Coast Dev Tour for a while. We finally got our schedule locked down and all of our speakers. Wes and myself are actually going to be there. So, it'll be in Montreal at the Convention Center on November 12th, and then in Boston at the W Hotel Boston on the 14th next week. We've got 6 different rooms with 6 different tracks, and a grand total of a lot of sessions.
There's a lot going
You're
on.
like, I'm going to
Yeah.
count that. No.
Yeah, there's a lot in here. I'd cover it all, but it's up on the site here. We'll definitely post the blog and the recap as well, but you can go to unrealengine.com and check them all out there now. If you're going to be in Montreal or Boston on the 12th to 14th, it's free. It's RSVP, and we'll see you there. Let's see. All right, so following the October Game Jam, we are kicking off the November Game Jam now. Moved them a little bit closer closer to the front of the month now because the holidays are coming up. So we don't want there to be like submissions happening on Thanksgiving Day. You know, people are trying to travel and figure everything out. So the December one will probably be earlier in the month as well too. We'll announce the theme on next live stream. Similar to the last one as well, we're giving out 30-day subcodes to everybody who has a valid submission, everybody on the teams, and then 3 30-day codes to all the team members of the winners, as well as a T-shirt. So we were really inspired by everything that came in last month. Lots of really cool submissions, some really great games, and some of those are actually, I've talked to a couple of you guys, and you're taking them to full production, which is kind of awesome. So that's great. Can't wait to see what we get from this.
Very cool.
All right, on to our community spotlight. Our first one up we've got from D. Niproman. It's a space battle arena. So let me pop this into full screen mode. This is a bit longer of a video, so I'm going to have to skip through parts of it. It's just such a gigantic area. So one guy on their team built this entire free template for you to download. I've got a Dropbox link that I'll be supplying as well that you can download this, but here in editor he'll boot it up. It's got a lot of lighting examples, particle effects, materials. It's like a fully featured deathmatch type arena map. Just all kinds of cool stuff in here.
Wow.
Pretty awesome. A lot of lights going on.
Yeah.
And I like the sparking wires. Those are cool.
Yeah, he's got lots of little nice, a very diverse set of effects in here too. It's sci-fi themed in nature, but like there's like dripping water. There is these beams. It's got some sparks and different stuff. So I'm gonna hop ahead just a little bit to an area that's a little more diverse. Right through here. Where is it?
I like the
Here
TV
we go.
effect.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
good job.
TV is really nice. Yeah, it's all put together by
That's really good.
one guy. It's pretty neat.
And he's posting this for free for
Yeah.
download? Awesome.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he's got the project up at the YouTube video, and I'll also be linking it myself. So
Cool.
yeah, cool stuff. It's reminiscent of like my days back in the UT3, seeing just people build maps, just
Yeah.
maps. And this is, let's see, another sci-fi observation deck. This one we got from the Polycount forums. The Polycount user is Beefaroni. But a really great use of material and lighting in this thing. This
Yeah.
is his final. It's just a short 30-second fly through. Mass
Yeah,
Effect-ish.
I was totally going to say that.
Yeah.
It's really clean.
Yeah, it looks really, really nice.
I'm trying to figure out how all the screens are done.
Yeah, it's probably translucent panels with
Yeah.
some emissive. Yeah, soft lighting too. You know, a lot of space scenes will be very harsh and rigid. And that
Yeah.
one has got really nice lighting to it. And what's cool about his thread here, you can actually take it and follow from where he originally blocked it out, or from his concept even. This is concept sketch. And then taking it, blocking it out, putting our wonderful blue guy around for scale, and some of the other
Reference and
things he
stuff.
used
Cool.
is for, reference and
Just follow along as he
Uh-huh.
goes. That's pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
yeah, Polycount's really cool with like these kind of maps. Just like throw something out there, get
Yeah.
critique, and then work it in. You can really watch a project come together. Cool.
That's
So good
awesome.
stuff. Then, yes, this is a project called Lost Forest, and it's just a side scroller. It's like a chase scene example that some students made. Let's see if the video will. I think I had this issue with Vimeo before on this
Yeah.
monitor. Come on. Be my friend. There we go. All right. So this is a team of 7. This is a school project.
I think I've seen this one. This one's pretty awesome.
Yeah. I really like the main character.
Yeah.
Oh, don't be.
Buffering.
I know. But I need those high definition bits in there. There we go. I thought so. All right. Let's just see if we can go non-HD and see if that helps any.
There you go.
Yeah, that should be all right. So yeah, Lost Forest. Really good cinematic work too.
Yeah.
Like it's all really nice camera effects, and the whole thing is just kind of really nice and dynamic. I love it.
That's cool.
This one's a bit of a no. I think we'll be all right. Might have to skip a little bit ahead here too, because
Yeah.
it's kind of a longer video too. But
No, I love the whole text and
Yeah.
It's amazing what the community's putting together.
I know.
Blows me away.
It's super inspiring. It's
Yeah.
like, man, I wish I had more time to
I was
do it on it, you know? It's like,
I wish I had time to go home and just build something.
I know.
Something cool.
I'm going to hop ahead
There's
real
effect
quick
there on
here.
the
Yeah.
screen too.
There's some parts up here just for brevity's sake. Yeah, super nice. And cool. So good stuff there.
Yeah.
And oh yeah, here's the thread where they posted and they're chatting about it and the team and everything. So
7
be rolled up in the recap as well. All right, and here's evil Mr. Frank, who is actually in the chat today. I just love this post that he's got in the forums. He's got a number of different projects where he just is doing, quick time lapse of level design, just building things, right?
Mhm.
Or, here he is, and I believe, is this Max or Maya? Max, yeah. And it just reminds me of my days back, as a level designer modder, making maps and stuff, and just some of the quick workflows. This one was about a 3-hour build. I'll hop ahead here a little bit so you can kind of see some of the things as they go, but
I actually really like the time lapse effect.
I
It's
do
like,
too.
Look how quick it just. Doo-doo-doo-doo.
yeah.
Only
Yeah.
that were the case in real life.
I know it. I know it. It's like, this guy's amazing. No, it's funny too because he's got 3 or 4 of these in the thread, and they all look fantastic. And some of them are like an hour and a half. You know, what you put together there. So
It's like a shooter game a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Wait, is he building shooter game?
I guess he is. He's rebuilding it.
Is it a time lapse of a reverse time lapse of him taking shooter game apart? So yeah, just hop on here a little bit and see
Very
kind
cool.
of some of the other quick. I was talking to somebody about this earlier. The whole like alt drag space 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 scale move alt drag space space space, the old workflows that muscle memory. Anyway, really cool stuff. Final product is really awesome.
Wow.
See if we can get down there to it. If our internet will be nice to us. Please be our friend.
Oh, and then tweaking all the
Yeah.
post-process there at the end.
Hmm.
Wow.
Super nice. Love
Seriously.
it. I like how it saved and actually it buffered at the same time. I was like, whoa. Cool. Well, good stuff, Frank. Yeah, and there's some shots, you know, the final shot here, as well as the other the other time lapses he's worked on too. You can kind of come back through and see. We had this on the stream, I believe, a while back too, talking about him building this from the vehicle template.
Yeah.
So really cool stuff. And then this is Adrian Lazar's project. There was an issue with playback. Of course there was. Let's see if I can get it joined up. There we go. All right. This was originally a project called Growing Up, and we've been following it in the forums for quite some time. He's actually hired a sound designer, and now it's called Planet Alpha 31. Just, I love the day-night cycle that he's got in
Yeah.
here, and just some of the lighting effects and particles. It's just really, really, really great stuff.
Oh yeah, that whole like nebula that just there was
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool to see updates to this project because we've taken a look at it for a while, and it's just super awesome. I'm a big fan of the low poly trees and low poly environments altogether. It's not something you're used to seeing, you know, out of the engine, and so it's really, really cool. But yeah, it's been in development for a few months now, and you can kind of come back to the thread and see
Follow
where
it.
it was, you know, how he's been prototyping each individual feature and things like that. So, cool stuff. All right, with that, I'll turn it over to Lauren.
Yay!
Right.
So, yeah, for 4.5, we wanted to make a really big push to include a lot more help directly in the editor, so you could find things when you need it. And the other place we thought, why not try to give more help for people, is in the launcher. So, it's minimized over here.
Yeah.
So, today we're trying to push this out to all you guys. The Learn tab in the launcher. So, what we have here is there are buttons you can go right to the documentation, the videos, the wiki, and you know, see what the community's put together there too. There are also documentation links, so you know I can go look at the UMG Quick Start, and that'll load up and take you directly to the documentation page. And we're gonna update those regularly so that will always be something new for you to come and check out, or you know, good old resources to come revisit. And then if you'll notice, there's also a lot of the projects, so the content examples, the matinee example that there's a tutorial over, the shooter game, and the strategy game, the tower defense strategy game, so that you can break these down. They all have associated documentation, as you can see with these little
Awesome.
icons here,
Yeah, I
either
love that.
video or docs. And if you click on those, again, this link will just take you right to the right documentation.
So you're looking at paired resources straight from, there's the project, you're
Right.
downloading it. All right, let's take a look at what I can learn from this.
Exactly. So that, and we want to add more projects here over time. You know, things from demos, things from videos that the doc team is doing, so that there will be more projects in here too. But basically, we want this to be the hub for when you say, I need to figure out how to use a feature, or I want to learn how to make this kind of game, or like see what goes into it. This is where you come. And there's even a search up here, so like blueprints. it will search the official documentation, it will search the wiki, and it will search Answer Hub. So definitely looking forward to getting that out and
Yeah.
seeing what everybody thinks of it.
It's
But
like, yeah, we're watching like some of the chats right now, and it's on the cusp of being available to everybody, right?
Yeah.
Like
I think the
it's-
beauty of this too is that it's one central location, like Lauren said. Before you had to search AngelHub, you had to search the forums, you had to search Google, you had to go all over the place to find something. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
now you can come right to this one tab right
Yeah.
there. Everything's right there for you. So.
well, that too, or like, if you just went and got the engine, today and it's downloading and you're like, okay, well, what should I do in the meantime? Hopefully this year, like, okay, there's documentation, there's how do I get started, which will open the, main getting started page, things like that. So, again, hopefully this will be where everybody wants to come and check out the new docs and videos and find out what's new.
That's where I'm gonna go to learn. For sure.
So that's in the launcher and should be going out today.
Yeah. So if you see an update, that's what it is.
Yes. Oh, learn tab. So close that. Then the other stuff is we've done a lot of new, like I said, in editor help. Let me pull up the editor.
Oh yeah, it
It's
should be.
behind.
It's
Behind all of those.
yeah. Minimize that guy down right
There
there,
it is.
and then it's
Oh.
yep.
So I don't know if you guys have noticed there's a lot, more little art question marks usually identifying where you can find help. So pull up the editor and the content example project, which is where some of these, go away. Well, some of these are. But also that search that's in the launcher is very similar to the new search that's in the editor. So again, you can search the documentation, the or Answer Hub, all right up here in the corner of the editor now too. And the cool thing is this actually even searches the in-editor tutorials. So say we'll put in materials and
Gosh, that is just so nice.
there'll be, here's the material editor in editor tutorial. Here's the documentation. Here's the category in the wiki. And then say nothing here quite answers your question. You can actually go directly to Answer Hub and post your question or say you have a bug just right there. That'll take you right to Answer Hub.
See, I wish I had that like years ago when I was first getting started with
Yeah, right.
with anything. It's just super nice. I run into something right here, and you can just stay here. You
Yeah.
don't have to like, all right, let me close out, lose context of what I'm doing, and go somewhere else. It's
Exactly. Just try to make it all like
Yeah.
right where you're. So say you're in the content example project, and let's open a map up, like the animation map, and there's all the stands in here, and you get to locomotion blend space. You're like, okay, I need to learn. I see how this works, but I want to learn a little bit more. You can actually click on this documentation actor, and it's just you associate a link with it, and so you can actually have again the docs for your specific area you're working with right then. Hopefully easier to find and know that they exist, and just right to blend spaces, and then you can get going in here too. So that's what all the cool new green glowy question marks are in the content examples project. And we probably will put those in some of the other more training
Yeah.
focused projects too as we go on. Again, so you could go straight to the third person videos from the third person template, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's super nice.
And you could also put these in, plugins or your own project too. So if you were doing your own tutorial, you could say, drop those in. I mean, anybody can use them. Some of the other things are, so Owen is a skeletal mesh, and actually, so let's go with the lights. There's actually a little question mark here too. So you have something selected in the level, and you want to learn more about it. Again, look for the little blue question mark, and it opens docs. And so we're trying to put it in basically right there where you're looking at, trying to have a question, so you don't have to try to find the right search terms or be clicking on and lost when you're already sort of wanting to learn and find out information. So let's see.
So a lot of these features are already available in 4.5,
Yeah, for
right?
4.5, that was one of the big pushes, try to get these
Yeah.
in and try to embed help throughout the editor.
Got it. Yeah, we got a couple questions in the stream about when are these things available, right? And so yeah, they're,
Right now.
they're already there. Yeah, and
Yeah.
the Learn tab itself on the front side of the launcher should happen if you're just coming in. It should be today. Like
Yeah.
they're pushing it live as we speak.
Yeah.
So
And so yeah, basically all these question marks we just sort of threw that we're like, where can we put more help? So they're here. Again, there's lots of cool places. So I'm sure there's some that I'm not even thinking of right now. Right clicking on things in the content browser. There's one. So tons and tons of distributed help, and that is all in for 4.5. Let's
Awesome,
see.
awesome.
Where'd my notes go? Another cool thing is the search, and then the in-editor tutorials, which we really revamped the system for 4.5, and part of that was trying to make us a system that was less in your face, less, showing help when you weren't really looking for it, but again, contextual and ready when you
Yeah.
when you do want it. So this is the new tutorial browser, so you can even search in here. So interfaces, I don't know, for Blueprint interfaces,
super nice.
it'll search if I could type.
You have to spell it for it to find it.
It's not like I type for
Yeah.
my job. But again, it pulls them all up, searches the description, all of that. And a little bubble that sort of actually follows, walks around the editor, and again, highlights exactly where you're trying to look instead of sort of being a separate piece of information that you have to then map back.
Yeah, I really like the green focus areas too on some of this stuff. If you're just trying to get started, and like what does that even mean?
Yeah.
It gives you that.
And if you ever want to go back or
Context.
restart, there's a little context menu, and also you can right click and open that up too. So the content browser, yeah, there you go. So it's right there at the content browser. You don't have to try to look and figure out which of your windows is
Of the content browser.
yeah, exactly. There's the new button. Try to
Yeah.
highlight all of that right there. So this is a system that we're still really playing with, and we want to add more tutorials with these. Probably one for UMG, some for code that we're working on. So definitely a system that we're trying to put a lot of love into, and also put out more tutorials with it, because they're all in blueprints now, which makes them much easier to make. Anybody can just
Overside.
actually, it's just close this. Just make a blueprint. So we just new, is that miscellaneous
Yeah.
tutorial blueprint, and then
Yeah, the first time you showed me this, I was like, that is
I
incredible.
know it's just you want a title? Just type a title. My tutorial.
Especially if you're trying to help somebody out, like, I
Yeah,
imagine.
you run through the steps, and then you just can add them really quickly this way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's as easy as just
Well,
adding a bunch of.
I even think you have a studio of like 6 people or whatever, and you bring somebody else on. He's like, great, run these things I built for you to teach you our workflows, right? Done.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and it's type. As easy as typing. You get little formatting in there too, so it's a very friendly editor, and hopefully make it easy for people to make tutorials. Also,
Yeah, you're just adding basically states when you
Exactly.
stages, if you
so
will.
it's like
Yep.
step 1, step 2, and then you can just test it, launch it. Oh, it's back here probably. Yep, and then it's that easy. So
Awesome.
everybody go make
Probably
tutorials.
include these with marketplace stuff that you upload too. Like if you
Oh, yeah.
upload some kind of system and you want to teach people how to use it, you could
Absolutely.
create a tutorial on how to use it as
Yep.
well. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are doing tutorial work with their marketplace submissions anyway.
Yeah.
They're like, I'm just going to send a set of videos too. It's like, well, if you could
Now you
build
can
this
do it
into,
with
you
this
don't have to do it
into it.
somewhere
That's
else
awesome.
and figure out how to do it. It can be just part of the package, right?
Exactly, and you can do actually links outside, so you could still, say, here, go watch the videos from the inside the tutorial. It's all pretty easy to just select and hyperlink, and
Love that.
Cool.
So then on the non-editor front for help, some of the things we tried to be doing were we've had quick starts since the very beginning, and those have been, how do you start with either a blank project or a template project and get going really quickly, with AI or programming or things like that. And then we've started doing these how-tos, which are even shorter little snippets of how to do ray tracing. What are some of the other ones you've been working on, Wes?
Just blueprint communications, specific instances of communications, things like that. I know we're doing some on landscape and materials, and like Lauren said, the quick starts have always been taking you from the beginning all the way through to the end of a project. And at the end of the project, you have some kind of mini project put together encompassing a bunch of different things. And with the how-tos, there may be instances where you just want to learn how to do this one specific thing and you don't want to go through several steps of a quick start. And that's where the how-tos come in. So
Right.
there's a bunch of those up. I know I did a lot of them in the gameplay section. There's a lot for setting up a character, ray tracing, like Lauren said, inputs, a bunch of other things in the gameplay section, and currently working on blueprints and materials and landscapes and some other things. UMG is one I want to do, hopefully for 4.6, if we could get that in, because I know there's a lot of UMG things that I'd like to do one-offs for, because people are asking a lot of questions on those. So
Yeah. Basically, how do I do this one little bitty thing
Right.
and then learn all those little building blocks and stick them together and have a game, hopefully. So yeah, if you search for quick start or search for how to, we'll always name them those so they're easy to find and hopefully get more help.
more of those will be coming.
Yes, definitely lots more of those on the docket. So always interested to hear what people are having the most time or the hardest time trying to figure out how to do, so that can maybe get into the queue there. Yeah.
Cool.
So I think
Awesome.
that covers all the doc side of things. You want to talk, speaking of UMG, Wes, you want to?
Sure. I can jump in. Let me close this project real
Yeah.
quick and open a project here. Close. Minimize these. I guess I could have just opened the project. Like Chance said, we're going to be doing the East Coast Dev Tour next week, and one of the topics that I will be covering there is on UMG. I have a whole hour to spend with you guys talking about UMG, and I've had some time to sit down with Nick and go over some things and learn more about the system itself, because it is ongoing and there's constantly things being added to it and changed and improved, and so I'm learning it as well. But that's
You're learning it every week. As
basically,
well.
yeah, basically, I'm learning something new every week. So I had the chance to sit down and put together a tutorial series in UMG on how to make a basic inventory system. I've already recorded it. I think it's in the pipeline to come out in the next couple weeks
The
or
next
so.
couple weeks, probably, yeah.
So I was going to pop that up real quick and let you guys take a look at that and see what it is that we can create with that series. And this is also what I will be covering at the East Coast Dev Tour next week. We'll walk through building this together and talk about the components of UMG and how to set things up.
Yeah, that's one of the features that I really want to sit down and play with, because I haven't had a chance really yet. But it's like, I just want to put together buttons and see what I can do.
So I'm not going to go into how I built it here. I'm just going to show you the end result and kind of a little bit of what you can do with it. It's by no means perfect, but should get you started. So I have created a simple first-person template here. I do have health, energy, and mood. It's my condition, I guess, for my character. If I jump, I lose energy. Those have been done in the past. Health bars and passing variables to the HUD have been done in the past, but I did want to add that as part of this tutorial series, because we're going to be having pickups
Does he wear a mood ring?
and
No.
mood ring.
But you can probably do
Well,
that.
you know how some games
Or like
have,
if he changes color.
some
Yeah.
games have hunger, thirst,
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
that, the other. So I've condensed it into one general thing
Right.
called mood that you're worried
Yeah.
about at any particular time. So say like you're hungry or something, you could pick up my makeshift banana here. You can pick it up, and if I press I, bring in my inventory, and it slides in. Press I again, and it slides
Slides in.
out.
That's
So that
cool.
covers animation in UMG.
Oh, right on.
And you can see how I styled buttons here. So I have a button here. I can, none of the other buttons are available because I haven't picked anything up. But if I go over to them and pick up different objects, my inventory gets populated with
Awesome.
objects. I can click on them. I can eat it, drop it, or return back to the menu.
Cancel it.
Cancel it, yeah. Cancel that banana. You can drop it on the ground, pick it back up. It gets added to the inventory at the
Yeah.
end. One of the things I did want to try to get into this was drag and drop. I know a lot of you guys have been asking about that. I've been asking about it as well. Nick has been asking about it. He just needs the time to work on it. So I think in 4.6, the button functionality for drag and drop will be ready. There is a form thread right now, I believe, on drag and drop that doesn't necessarily work with buttons, but anything else that you would like to do drag and drop with, it should work currently with that. But there's some tricks with buttons that need to be ironed out. So I believe that's coming in 4.6, but don't quote me on that. But back to the inventory, like I said, you can use the items, drop them. They all do different things. And let's see if I pick this one up. So I can like start a little fire and it affects my mood because I'm happy because I'm standing next to the fire getting warm.
Fire makes everybody happy to us.
Right? And who doesn't like a campfire? But the cool thing about this system and the pickups, the way that I set it up, it's very flexible. So you can adjust the pickups on the fly in the editor. So if you wanted to change how much it affects your energy or mood, you can do that on an individual pickup level. You can change the thumbnail for it. You can change the static mesh that is being used for it. So this pickup can represent a plethora of pickups.
Got it.
And that's something that I wanted to cover in the tutorial series because I know people had been asking about an inventory system and had the chance to sit down and play with UMG and create this. So you guys can look forward to that.
So there's a video series. You're talking about it at the dev tour, and then also this is the kind of project that'll end up on the Learn tab.
Yes, nice segue back.
That's what I was going to say. Is this going to become available like after the fact for everybody to
I think
consume?
the plan with the Learn tab is to, anytime we do a video series or create a project for learning purposes, to post that project there so that you can download it and see the end result and make it your own from there.
Yeah, super valuable. Yeah, I love that.
So.
Cool. So that's next week. We've got a blog from you coming out on it probably sometime next week as well too, right?
I believe so. Yeah, I
With
can
the
try
video.
to do that maybe on Monday. And
Well, I
get
think
that
we've already
ready.
got it.
Wait,
We're
the blog
just-
post
Oh,
for the
for the
videos.
video.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we do have
we'll
that.
be staging that.
Okay.
More info about this will be coming very soon. Right. So cool. You guys all set? or-
Yeah. And there are some questions.
Yeah,
So-
absolutely. So
Pop
let's see
that
what
up.
we've
Did I
got
close
here.
the dog?
Yeah, if you guys have any more questions, feel free to drop them into the chat here, and we'll see if we can answer them.
It's one of those down there in the corner.
Of course, Jeff Wilson's been in the chat there, just kind of cherry picking them all from us, so
Let's see if you can drive.
because he's awesome.
Let's see.
Oh,
There we go. Q&A.
Q&A.
Okay. Can you link out to video? Yes, with the Blueprint tutorial system, you can link to videos. You can actually link to assets. I think some of the ones we currently set up link to assets you can open or like you can associate it with an asset. So when you're working with the material, you can then actually open the material for them, that kind of thing.
You can tell that thing to specifically open, like
Yeah.
say, and that's kind of held inside the UE4 ecosystem
Yeah.
at this point, right? Cool.
There's a little eyedropper. You can mouse around and select parts of the UI to highlight. Like it's all very.
Oh yeah, so with that, I remember seeing you like say, okay, great, I need to highlight this thing. When you click it, everything kind of comes like outlined to where you could go down in. Is there any way you could show that?
Yeah.
Is that possible?
Still have
do
a
that.
project up.
'Cause that was one of the coolest things I saw was like, oh, whenever you're setting one of these up, you say, I want to highlight this specific item.
Oh yeah. So let's make a new tutorial blueprint. Oh, scrolling. There we go. So we'll make a step. So you add a stage, and then within that stage you have content. And if you put anything here, it's just going to show up right in the middle of your screen. And so that's going to be for sort of generic things or overview information. And then if you want to highlight a widget, you add widget content. So, and I can type in, this is, I don't know, we'll do the scene outliner. And there's the widget anchor, so you select this little eyedropper. And yes, then it starts outlining everything, so you can be like, okay, I can actually see what will flash as I move around. So if I come back over here, over there for a second, hover on the scene outliner and hit escape. So that's basically says that's what I want to highlight. Now when I go and launch the tutorial to test it, it says this is a scene outliner. And you can even pick, where the bubble displays relative, is it in the center, the bottom? Like you can really manipulate so you're not accidentally covering over something you want
I love
somebody
that
to
so
look
much.
at. And I can even say, let me make another stage. This is another cool thing that went in. I can change the next button to say, click me, and then when I go launch again, oh, maybe I have to close it. Nope. Oh, no. Oh, because I did it on the second one, didn't I?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, it's really easy. And to the person who said or was asking about linking to videos, yeah, it's just you select it, change to a hyperlink here, and it'll pop up with, you can put in a URL. Like, so you can link to URLs, you can link to assets, you can link to code, you can link to other tutorials. So you could say like, hey, for more, click
So
here.
we actually had another question on the code section. Like, what would that go like to your solution or?
Yeah, so it'll actually open. So if you actually click on the code, it says you just put in your project path, and you can go to line and column number.
Oh, awesome! So you
So-
can send it. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Very
That's
specific.
Like,
that
this is your
really
function.
awesome.
Go
Really
look at this
cool.
function.
Awesome.
So, and then again, you can sort of use these modular titles so that, say somebody's doing this in their own project and they didn't name it the same thing, it'll still work because you say, hey, it's the project path.
Right.
This is where we go. So, and you can even chain tutorials together by just selecting the next tutorial. So if
And
you
a
wanted to say
sequence.
like, a sequence of things that by the end you've got a little game or something, you can chain those together too. So, yeah, lots of, cool little features in here. And yeah, we're working on some more projects too that are going to use the system, just sort of more embedded with the project instead of these that are more to teach you about the editor no matter which project you're in.
Sure.
So,
Cool.
so yeah, and then yeah, the blueprint tutorials will highlight the element on the screen and with the picker there.
Yep.
So
Yeah, the question was, will there be a way to have those blueprints highlight some element on the screen and then move the window to there? The answer is yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
and you can even I think switch focus if you want to highlight something in a tab they don't have open, or that'll all switch around, right?
cool.
So let's see. The changelog for how to find out new documentation. Yes, that's something we always want to do is like we, spend the time writing the docs or making the videos. We're like, okay, get ready to go take a look. So what we're trying to do, because there's not a changelog or trying to figure out how to do one is a system that we're thinking about because they're the bigger pages, like when you do a whole new UMG section, but there's also, some page gets updated for minor UI tweaks in
Well, yeah,
4.6.
I mean,
We still
you
have
guys,
to find out, right?
You
Like,
guys have seen the release notes, right?
Yeah.
A few things get changed.
just a little bit.
Yeah.
And in fact, the docs are actually in the release notes. So
Yeah, yeah,
there's
yeah.
a good thing to go check out. So yeah, we put them in the release notes. I think I've been making forum posts lately because we can put new documentation out in between releases too. So when we get a big update there,
Yeah, and you have that forum post, like
yeah.
just your learning resources updates and announcements.
Yeah, it's
it's
in
on the top level forum. So Lauren's got a really great, like, do you update like weekly? Is it
basically whenever we publish,
New
try to
stuff.
update. Yeah.
cool? Yeah, so there's all kinds of just running new stuff in that post and announcements. I'll throw it in the chat here in a second.
Yeah. And then, so we've got those. The Learn tab, we're going to be highlighting things there. But definitely trying to get a systematic changelog will be something that we are definitely thinking about because we want everybody to find the new docs and also, they find something and they know it hasn't been updated for my version
Right.
or actually, let me just take a look at something else real quick. Yes. So the manual
Pretty.
now has a sitemap. So all the pages and all the docs are now here. If you want to go, this is new today. So if you want to go check it out, again, not a changelog, but actually, if you saved a copy of this or
Yeah,
something.
you do a diff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so now the manual is
Might
sort
be
of
an easy way for us to do it too.
it's probably but yeah, so now if you want all the pages live here, and you just scroll through, be like, oh, hey, look at all the pages. Scroll for a long time.
I was just going to say, that's a lot of scrolling.
Yes. So, and while I'm here and have this open, so for behavior trees, Ian did a behavior tree quick start. So it's there's the quick start directory and behavior trees. Okay. So it walks you through creating a nav mesh, and there's a little character that'll chase you around. So, I mean, it's simple. We do have more AI planned in the future, or more AI documentation planned in the future. But if you do want to just simply find out how to have a little AI-controlled enemy who will chase you around, then, and I think, has some other rules in his behavior tree.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was watching him build some of that out at EGX even. He just sit there, at the demo
Yeah.
pod, just building new things in the nav mesh and like having people do all kinds of crazy stuff. I'm like, this is awesome. Like, I was learning stuff and it was great.
Yeah, so more AI stuff planned, but in the
Yep.
meantime, take a look at this and see if that at least gets you started.
Cool.
Yes.
So yeah, there's a couple more on this. Oh, no, wrong side. We've got just a
Oh,
few
there we
more.
go.
Yeah.
So, oh,
That top one, go back to the top.
when,
that one.
when will Zach be on the
Will
stream?
Zach be on the stream?
Yeah.
I don't know.
These are the two people to ask to get him on. They can pester him.
Are we?
No, that's
Let's-
great.
So the interactive tutorials within the engine. Oh, you made it small. There
Do
we
you
go.
plan to release interactive turtles? That's
Yes.
kind of what this is.
I was
right?
actually just thinking that this may be an offline discussion, but those interactive tutorials with blueprints, we could theoretically create a project that walks you through
Yeah.
A
using that as
tutorial
well.
project for tutorial.
No, for creating, like if I wanted to do the
Yeah.
UMG inventory
Yeah, yeah,
system through the blueprints inventory, where we actually step you through instead of a video, we could
Yeah,
do it
yeah.
that way too down the road
Yeah.
potentially.
And
Cool.
speaking of videos, I know it's come up a couple times about trying to keep those updated with engine versions. What we do is we go through and we put on annotations, at least to try to, when there's a little minor tweak, that if you just do that, you can still keep following along. So just make sure you have annotations turned on, and we try to get those updated for each engine release, because we definitely understand that things will move, things will
Things
change.
will change, yeah.
But yeah, the in-editor system would be great, because if something does move,
We can-
it follows around.
Yeah, we can update it too.
Yeah.
Cool.
So if we can't get to Boston, so yes, your videos will be out soon,
Yeah.
and so there'll be those for UMG. I'm sure there'll be a lot more work on that.
Yeah, like I said, I wanted to try and get some how-tos for UMG, all the different types of stuff that you can do with UMG. There's also content examples that Harrison is working on
Yeah.
for UMG as well. I don't know when those are coming, but
Got it.
I've seen what he has, and he's pretty much all the way through, and it looks pretty good. So
That's great.
So yeah, there'll be content, there'll be videos, there'll be written
media
stuff.
player, too.
Yeah, media player. So
it's
lots
coming.
of, no matter if you for reading or watching or just taking it apart and just seeing how it works, I think we'll have pretty good coverage on all the content for
Yeah, I think
UMG
so.
there.
Cool. And yeah, this next one was just what about animations? It's just like an asset. Like this,
Oh.
as the context was the tutorial system. Can you link to animations?
You
And
should
yes,
be able to,
any
yeah.
U asset essentially, right?
Yeah, I mean, right here, there's a little drop down and be like, anything in here. And let's just, yeah, animation sequence. I can have that be.
Love that.
Yes. The other thing that I didn't mention is there's documentation nodes that you could actually add to your blueprint. It fills in with text and pictures. We are working on getting that in a way that we can include it in not just our training projects, but people who are, again, making stuff for the
Sure.
marketplace and want to talk about, how it works can use that too. So, yeah. And
That
then
sounds good. Yeah, this one last here is kind of more for me.
it is. I'll let you.
Question is, are you planning on streaming from the tours or people that cannot get there? No plans to stream anything or necessarily even record. However, each time we do these, we will take our notes and presentations and put them up onto our website. Actually, if you don't mind, hand me
There
the
you go.
keyboard. I'll show you kind of where that's going to be. Let me pop a new tab here. Right. So on our main site, just unrealengine.com. Down here, there is a resources section. And in here, there's a number of talks and presentations that others have given at different places like GCAP, the West Coast Dev Tour are all up here.
Oh, yeah, Nick Whiting's Oculus.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So pretty much anytime we go do something that has slides, they end up here. So at the very least, the presentations should all end up here within a week or so after we get back. And some of these, if they're more content learning material that needs to end up being
Yeah.
created into something like the Learn tab or
Right.
something, they will end up there.
Yeah.
So cool. All right, let's see what we got now. Hey, good call, Shelly. Thank you. All right, let's see what we got here. Do you guys have any more documentation questions or anything about the learning resources? Feel free to drop them into the chat, and we'll see if we can get to them.
Here, I can Or just
Oh,
pull
sure,
up
go
some
for it.
How-tos.
I got one right here too.
Oh, yeah.
Can I get the UMG tutorial on GitHub now? Unfortunately, it's still being written. It won't be up on the GitHub, so not at this time. But it will be coming out to the Learn tab whenever it's ready.
Yeah. So yes, documentation was just updated today, actually. So this gameplay guide is what you're talking about with all
Yes.
the how-tos, and
There's a bunch in there.
yeah.
Bottom under gameplay.
So
Yep.
everything from spawning actors to possessing pawns, so like how to switch between what a third person in a vehicle, that kind of thing. So
Oh yeah, possessing pawns would be a great one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
I
like
think that's what I did for that one, actually, was getting in and
Oh,
out
cool.
of a vehicle. Not
Yeah.
sure if I did or didn't.
Yes, and then we do also. I mean,
Oh,
these
I
are how
see.
to do it in blueprints. We also want to do C++ examples there too. So everybody will have how to do it, whether you prefer to code or prefer to use blueprints. So yeah. Oh yeah, there's entering and exiting a vehicle.
Yep.
So yeah, looks like the topic is on every page. It's cool. The sitemap.
And there's a nice little video of it, too.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah.
Boop. I did not have animation support for getting in the vehicle, otherwise I would have played an animation, so that's why he popped in.
No animation
But
needed.
I
you can
teleported
control
my vehicle.
and get out.
Yeah.
And they have independent controls, so.
Yeah. So yeah, lots more of those planned and coming. So yes.
Continuing the awesome. We got one here about the adding comments or to documentation or giving examples, thoughts on opening up documentation to the public. That is something that we have kind of been tooling around as well, trying to figure out what that looks like. We definitely do want y'all's input on a lot of this stuff too. So lots of cool stuff in the works there. Unfortunately, nothing we can really speak to at this point, or timeline or anything like that. But it's definitely something that's on our radar and roadmap.
Yeah, and people who do have tutorial requests or like this was confusing, and then on the forums, like we're all in there,
Yeah.
checking that out and try to answer questions or point things out. So it's also a good place to if you find something that didn't quite answer your question or it was just hard to find, then call it out and we'll take a look.
Yeah, and Jeff just answered that question too in the chat. Jeff's the one that's actually doing that work for us right now. I say that it's most likely part of the move to the wiki, so he's testing options for those that aren't in chat.
Jeff is actually doing work right now while we're in here.
Yeah,
Good job, Jeff.
yeah. That's why Jeff's not here, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
It's typing.
cool. So Fiddlebits just got here. It looks like, is there a way to link documentation to specific actors or content leads, project-specific documentation, webpage, or other resources? And I think the answer is yes.
Yeah,
on
and
that.
the documentation actors, we made sure that they worked with any project, so not just our official documentation. So what you do is just come to all classes and documentation and drag one in, and then you just type in and then when you click on it, it will and it will also prompt, it'll say this is going to take you outside the engine, and it will open YouTube, which it did on the other. There we go. Oh, YouTube.
The best.
So again, you can drag these into any project and they'll work. And we also try to name the ones in the projects with what they open. So you can actually double click on them directly here and it'll open as well.
Yeah.
So not just with the button, but also in the scene outliner, you just have to double click and it'll go. Yep. I think F works too. Yep. So F for focus, does the same thing.
Cool. Let's see what else we got in here.
A big green spinning.
I was gonna say, I like that art asset. Whoever generated that. Good job.
Let's see.
Well, it's like we tried to make something that would jump out at you and be like, here. Actually, we used Ryan Brux's flipbook to make that. His flipbook tool.
To make which one?
To make the
Yeah,
spinning
icon.
documentation actor.
Oh, the little.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
So it can
icon.
spin while you're in the editor.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do we know if there's a way to bookmark favorites for in editor documentation or a search history? Any of those kind of features at this point?
I don't know, but those both sound pretty cool.
That's a
Yeah. I like
good
them too.
suggestion.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. We do. Let me see. I can type. we do at least, highlight, these are the documentation, this is the API, that kind of thing. But yeah, that'd be kind of cool to be able to
if you
save
can
your
right-click
search
on it,
history.
add to favorites, and you have another tab or
Little
something you
star or
can go
something.
to that has
Yeah.
a bunch of them. Yeah, it's a really good idea.
Yeah,
Yeah, love that.
Keep those ideas coming,
Exactly.
ladies and gentlemen.
Got kind of a where's the best place to find C++ documentation?
So C++ documentation, there are a couple different places, but so let's pull this back over.
I was enjoying watching that guy run and get in that car.
So on the homepage, we actually have the programming guide, and this is where you can do everything from the quick start to the basics to why you'd want to use how to set up your classes and functions with the different keywords, that kind of thing. You can also go directly to the API, which is the one that's going to have the listing of every class, all every function. Let's see. Just find. Just everything is in here. And then if you can go into each function breakdown, you get more information. I know that people are always asking for code examples in here, and we definitely hear that because that would be great to be able to put in use cases, that kind of thing. It's a system that we're trying to figure out, again, so that we can make sure they're all up to date and make sure that they're included right there where you need them. And so there's the API, there's the programming guide, and then there are projects like the battery video, or battery pickup C++ video where you set up a little mini game. There's that video. That project will be coming to the Learn tab at some point.
Awesome.
Things like Shooter Game, we're trying to add comments and information there. Like Shooter Game does have a page breaking down what systems are in there.
There's a lot of good info in Shooter Game.
And Strategy Game also has some C++, and that actually shows how C++ and blueprints can work together really well. In that some things were set up just a little bit in code to build the back end, and then all the turrets are done entirely on blueprints built on top of that. So to show how those go together.
Yeah.
But yeah, so.
Kind of reminds me of the days back when I was writing Kismet nodes in Unreal Script. The best.
So
Cool.
it breaks down, the inventory, what functions you might want to go look at. So, it might not be the completely detailed view, but it'll say, here's where you want to go look if you're trying to learn about, the camera or the inventory, those different sections of it.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what else we got in here. Yeah, there's a request for C++ coding tutorials in here too, so.
Yeah, no, I would love to sit down and write some more. In fact, and also put the C++ examples on the
Yeah, I was just going to mention, I think I know where you're going with that. The gameplay blueprint how-tos, we do want to have C++ example how-tos that match the blueprint side as well.
So you can
those
also
should be
see.
coming.
Yeah.
Cool. There's a question in here about share and copying snippets of blueprints. I think snippets are something that, was it Darnell?
Yeah, I
Somebody was
think
working
so.
on, and they're still on our roadmap. I'm not really sure timeline on those things, but it's definitely something we want to have in there, as I think that'd be super helpful.
Yeah, it definitely would be. There's the Blueprint API too, and again, it's another thing that once we figure out a good way to get samples in there, we would love to. And then, of course, you can still always copy your whole blueprint. It makes the little text file you can send,
Right.
which
Yeah.
is kind of a nifty little, easier way to send it than a picture, because the next person can just try to put it in. But yeah, so there's the Blueprint API.
Well, we don't have where you can import a JPEG.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah, there's all the Blueprint API, and then it's got a little image of the
node itself.
the node itself, and I think even some of these have tooltips where there are tooltips on them. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, there you go. Yes,
Love that.
tooltips and the
Tooltips.
API reference. So
To not a numbers question about this learning stuff coming in 4.6. So a lot of these features are available already in 4.5. We're adding a Learn tab right now to the launcher. So a lot of this stuff will be funneled that direction. It'll be an easy way, nice roll up of a lot of learning resources.
yes, so yeah, lots of new documentation coming in 4.6. The how-tos, something on source control, stuff like that. So. And those will get called out, in the release notes in the forum, so that hopefully people, and also, new highlighted things in the Learn tab.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's about all we got over here. So if you guys are good to go.
Your last minute crazy UMG-ness or no?
Not that I
No.
can think of at this moment.
No. All
Other
right.
than
Yeah.
it's coming.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, cool. With that, I guess we'll wrap up. Thanks everybody for coming and hanging out with us. We'll be back next week. I don't know what the UT stream's topic is on next Wednesday, but they've got one on Tuesday. I'm sorry, Wednesday next week at 2. We'll be back here Thursday at 2. Don't have our topic yet either, but no support stream next week, and we'll be kicking off the game jam on the 13th as well. I won't be here. Hopefully Dana will be here instead, as everybody has been requesting her again. So we'll see you guys around. Thanks a lot.
See ya.
Yep.